What is up? All right, the title of today's discussion is Manifesting the Divine Avatar. All right, becoming beyond 3D illusion. We're going to talk about transcending the illusion of who you are. We're going to talk about overcoming your ego on this manifesting journey. And the main question or the main thought that I want to ponder is this, okay? How do I become? We're often told that if you want to get something, you have to become a certain person. You have to become the person in alignment with that thing. You have to become the person on the frequency, whatever that mysterious frequency is, right? So I want us to think about it like this. How do I become is the wrong question. The right question is, what do I need to remember? Okay, so we're going to explore yourself, the ego and its limitations, and I'm going to challenge you to drop the ego, to detach from the ego, to allow the ego to experience things, to allow the ego to feel like it needs to heal, to allow the ego to create stories of lack and limitation. Allow it to do that, but you do not identify with it. This is a journey of you remembering, right? It's not about what you need to become. It's about what you actually need to remember behind the illusion of your thoughts, okay? So let's get into it. If you believe you are broken, you will act as if your power is borrowed. If you believe you are divine, you will walk with the authority of heaven. I forgot to hit live. Okay. If you believe you're broken, you will act as if your power is borrowed. If you believe you are divine, you will walk with the authority of heaven. The world reflects not who you are in theory, but who you are in embodiment. And when you shift, reality must shift to match you. This is not performance, it is alchemy. So when we often talk about embodying who you want to be, right? This can be confusing, right? Or I have to align with the frequency of the version of me that is already wealthy. You don't even know who that is. Right? I understand you want that thing. You desire that thing. So it's not really about trying to conjure up some feeling, trying to create some imaginary feeling within you that you know cannot last. No feeling is permanent, right? It's about remembering who you are behind all these things, all right? So what if the you that you are chasing is already home, watching through your eyes, waiting to be remembered? What if it is not about you trying to be someone else, trying to embody this version of you that is prosperity, but it's simply you remembering that you've always been prosperity? What if it's not about you trying to become more love, but remembering that because source is within you, because you are divine, you could be nothing less than love? What if it's not about you becoming, it is about you remembering? Oftentimes, this is where those limiting beliefs come from, when we start trying to argue for our limitations. Right? Well, I just have to heal. It's just something within me just doesn't feel worthy enough. This is your ego. Your ego has to create stories of separation so you can experience this world, so you can create an identity, right? So you can define yourself as something with your name, right? You know you're nameless, all right? It says you're a son, a mother, a brother. You could not be held into those categories. It says you work at this place. This is how you identify yourself. You are this race. You are beyond all these things. You are the formless, right? You are the I am. You are beyond any title that the ego could give you, right? So we understand that in theory, but when the ego tries to argue for limitations and say, oh, I still need to heal, or I just don't feel worthy sometimes, we want to identify with those stories and believe that worthiness is a feeling when it's just a knowing. It's just who you are. So it's not about trying to become something. It's not about trying to train the ego to always be happy, to always feel worthy, whatever that means, to be on some vibrational frequency of wealth, some imaginary frequency, right? It's not about that. It is about remembering who you are behind the illusion and allowing yourself to go through this human experience, but stop judging yourself as you go through it. Simply remember who you are, okay? So what if healing is not the path to worth, but the veil you tear away to reveal the womb or the worth that never left? Okay, so we walk through this world like broken reflections, forgetting we are not the mirror, but the light it reflects. Every ache, every yearning, Every transformation is not about becoming more, but about peeling back the layers of what we are not. This is what healing is about, right? Healing is not about becoming more. You could never be more. You are infinite, right? You are simply one perspective right now of the infinite that is you, right? You are, every version of you exists and is within you right now. You are all of those versions. However, you're only seeing through one perspective right now. You can only wear one identity at a time. You can only see 0.001% of reality at a time within every moment. But you're shifting perspectives in every moment to identify with a different part of you. You are whole. You could be nothing less than whole. You are all that there is. All right? It is not about you becoming more. Thinking that you have to become more or you could become more is an illusion. You could never become more. You could never be less. Every single part of you is made in the image of the Creator, so it's absolutely perfect. It is us who add the thoughts of unworthiness, add the thoughts of I need to be more worthy, I need to be more whole, I need to heal, I need to do this, I need to do that. We're the ones who argue for our limitation. Let that go. Let that go. Let your limitations go. Let your ego think whatever, but do not identify it. Know that beyond all of that, behind all of that, you are divine. Okay? So, the avatar within, choosing the self that you embody. So Ephesians 4:24. Put on the new self. Put on the new self, created to be like God in true righteousness and holiness. And I really feel like I cooked in this actual presentation. So it's gonna be some gems that we're gonna drop. I think it's about a gem per section, if not, right? It's a lot of bars in here. So put on the new self, created to be like God in true righteousness and holiness. Let's break that down. This is not the call to become someone else. You can't become someone else. You are every version of yourself right now. You're simply choosing a perspective. I am is you. The that in between the I am, that is the perspective that you're wearing right now. So put on the new self. This is not the call to become someone else, but to remember who you were before the world told you your name. You are the nameless, infinite, eternal consciousness behind yourself. Okay? To put on the new self is to shed the garments stitched by fear, shame, and survival, and dress yourself in the original light you were formed from. Not a costume, but a return. Not a role, but a resurrection. It is the daily ritual of stepping into your divine architecture, crafted not in reaction to the world, but in likeness to the one who shaped it, because you are made in the image of who? You are made in the image of the divine, of source, of all that there is. Okay, this is why you are all that there is, right? This is why you have so many desires. Because every time you have a desire, you are experiencing right now in that moment a different perspective of you holding on to that desire. You are infinite. You are infinite. Your mind cannot truly grasp how infinite you are. Everything that you can imagine, you can have. You can have anything that you can imagine. Anything that you can imagine, you can have. The only thing that you cannot imagine is not existing, because it's the only thing that you could never have. You could never not exist. The only thing, you can imagine blank space, but you can't imagine not existing. Even if you sleep, even if you go to sleep tonight, close your eyes, be knocked out for 8 hours, and do not dream and wake up, you will not know what the hell happened. You can't conceptualize not existing. It's just blank space. Okay? So you were created to be like God, not someday after you heal, not when perfect, because you already are, but now when you dare to believe it. It is not about becoming anything. It's about remembering yourself. All right, let's go back to the very first question. How do I become? Is the wrong question. If you find yourself asking, how do I become this version of myself? How do I get on that frequency? This is the wrong question. The right question is, what do I need to remember? You need to remember that you already are that. The only thing keeping you from getting the things that you want is you refuse to believe that you already are that person. It's the only thing keeping you is you believe that you have to heal and work and hustle and grind and be worthy and conjure love and do all these things when you already are that. Okay? So you were created to be like God, not someday, not when perfect, but now when you dare to believe it. In true righteousness, not self-righteousness, but right relationship with yourself, with the source, with all. I am that I am. I am. And that is enough, because that is all that there is. All right. In holiness, not in performance, not in when I do all of this, then I will be worthy, then I will be ready. All right. But in presence, in simply being conscious of who you are. When I talk about presence, consciousness, this is simply the awareness, the statement in my mind that I am no matter what. I am source no matter what. I am divine no matter what. I am right now worthy of everything that I desire no matter what. You are. No matter what. No matter how you feel. No matter if you believe you still have to heal, you are still worthy. Doesn't matter if you do not feel worthy, you are still worthy. You simply have to make the what? The decision, the assumption in your mind. I am that I am no matter what. That's why we talk about that, right? Whatever affirmation that you have at the end of it, I want you to put them 3 beautiful words, no matter what, because that is the truth. Step out of the performance-based thinking of that ego. Allow that ego to do what it does, right? Allow it to seek limitation and seek separation, and you remind yourself that no, I am that I am no matter what. I am perfect, I am whole, I am divine no matter what. Okay? So this verse, this Ephesians 4:24, put on the new self, this verse is not about escaping your humanity. You do not escape or suppress or run from shit because you are divine. It's about infusing it with divinity. It's about having that human experience just the way that you are right now, knowing that you are enough, you are worthy, you are whole, you are complete, you are everything. But you add a little element to the top of it. And what is that? I am source. I am all that there is. The Most High is within me. Me and my Father are one. My Father does all the works, right? It is that knowing that allows you to experience life on a whole nother level now. Now you're co-creating. Now you remember who you are. Now you are source. Okay? Detach from the ego. The ego is separation. That's its job. It's just doing its job. And the more that you try to run from things and suppress things and fight things out there, you just make them bigger. You're just giving power to them. I am the Lord, right? And there is no other besides me. Your I am awareness is all that there is. Knowing that you are source is all that there is. Anytime that you're running from and, you're pushing away things and trying to change things out there, what you are declaring is that is your idol. You believe that's greater than you when it could never be. Leave the 3-dimensional reality alone. It is done. You simply know that you are source and you choose different and you allow that new reality. You step into a new reality. You don't want that same old person back. They are who they are. But by changing who you are, you step in a new reality. You don't want that same bank account. It's empty. But by changing who you are, you change the reality. Okay? So you are not a fixed identity. You are an open doorway. An avatar is not a mask. It is a vessel. Okay, you're not wearing a mask. You're just in a vessel. This vessel is just designed for you to control the Almighty, the infinite intelligence, right? Infinite intelligence is everything. All realities exist. Every version of you, every version of the thing that you want, of the people that you want, it already exists. It's already there. You are simply directing that power through this vessel. It's just your tool. But so many times we act like we're prisoners in this tool. You're not. You've never been a victim. You could never be a victim. You're not being tested. You could never be tested. The world is just a perfect reflection of you. The whole, God's strongest soldier thing, that's just people with sloppy minds, sloppy expectations. The world is being a perfect mirror to you. It is your report card. Every moment you're standing in your report card. Your bank account is a reflection of your faith, your belief, and how you relate to money. Where you live, what you drive, your relationships with everybody is a reflection of your beliefs, of your faith. All of it. It's just a report card. It is just highlighting the beliefs you need to change, the beliefs you need to keep. This is it. Okay? So an avatar is not a mask, it is a vessel. It is the form through which the formless expresses. You are the formless. You are the I am. You are the great I am. You are the formless, right? Expressing itself through this vessel. You are the living interface of divine potential. You are pure potential, infinite intelligence, infinite personalities, infinite perspectives. Each perspective takes you to a different reality, a different dimension. Do you know that? Do you understand that every version of you that could ever possibly exist exists within you right now? And you simply put on the persona, put on the perspective of what you want to experience, right? You put on your that mask. You are the I am that I am, and you put on your that mask. And then you walk the reality and it conforms to you. But so often we believe that we're stuck in a personality and, oh, I just have to heal, right? Oh, I just don't feel worthy. I just have that work to do. No. That is the illusion of the ego. You are worthy whether you feel like it or not. It is not about what you have to be, right? This is the wrong question. What do I have to be? What do I have to embody? The frequency I have to get on, how I have to feel is the wrong question. The right question, what do I have to remember? If you believe you have to change who you are asking the wrong question. The right question, what do you have to remember? You are that you are no matter what. I am that I am no matter what. I am prosperity no matter what. Add those 3 words to the end of whatever affirmation you're speaking. No matter what. Huh? So the yogis spoke of Lila, the divine play. All right, they had a divine play where God wears many masks to explore creation. What a coincidence. It's as if all of these spiritual teachers, spiritual practices are trying to say the same shit, but we're down here arguing for our limitations. This was a divine play where God wears many masks to explore creation. This is what you are down here doing. Your perspective is a mask. These women ain't shit. This is a mask that allows you to experience reality from that perspective. Doesn't seem fun. All right? Everything is working out perfectly for me. This is a new perspective that you can put on to experience the world from this vantage point. All of these already exist within you. It's not a matter of you working to get to a new version of yourself. It's simply, you have the keys. You have the keys in your declaration. Thou shalt decree a thing and it shall be. You're not locked in any room. It's an open door policy. My Father's house has many mansions. You are the Father's house. You are the temple of God. The divine exists within you. Every mansion is a different perspective. You can put it on whenever you want. You're not trapped in anything. There's no work to do. There's no healing to do. There's no more reaching for wholeness. You could be nothing less than whole. You are infinite personalities wrapped in one vessel, walking through life, experiencing life 0.001% of reality at a time from one perspective. That one perspective that you have is the 0.001% of reality that you can see. And as you switch perspectives, now guess what? All of those atoms begin to collapse and show you who you are right now. This is all it is. From a quantum physics perspective, we can talk about it like that. We can talk about it from a spiritual perspective. We can talk about it however you want. Everything is saying the same shit, y'all. Everything is saying the same shit. All right, so the yogi spoke of Lila, divine play, where God wears many masks to explore creation. And mystics throughout time whispered the truth. You are not the body, nor the personality, but the one who chooses how the body is lived in and what story the personality tells. You are the infinite. You are the infinite, unlimited, divine, perfect, whole, abundant, prosperous being. You are infinite prosperity. How come you don't have prosperity in your account? What is the persona that you are putting on? What is the story that you are telling yourself? I am prosperity no matter what? Or are you saying I have to match some frequency of prosperity? Please explain to me what the frequency of prosperity is. What does that feel like? And if it was a feeling, do you believe that you could put on that feeling and from now till forever, you could stay in that exact same feeling? Please enlighten me. There is no feeling that you can embody right now that you will keep for the rest of your life. If it rains outside, if it's a stormy day, you're going to probably feel sad. If you get bad news, you are going to be upset. You know what that whole feeling is the key, and you have to feel things is? It's a trap. It turns you into someone who runs from your emotions, who tries to suppress things, who becomes a less divine version of yourself when your emotions are just telling you something. They're just tools. They are just telling you about your beliefs. They are highlighting to you. You believe something right now, so you feel a certain type of way. You believe shit is working out good, so you feel good. You don't believe shit is working out. That means that you don't understand that you are source and that it will work out as long as you decree it. It's just giving you an opportunity to check yourself. I have a feeling. Now I'm going to have expectations and beliefs that start popping up that I can question. And in that moment, right, it's not about some long process of reprogramming a subconscious mind. And maybe one day it'll accept my beliefs, right? Maybe one day if I reprogram it long enough, then all of a sudden it'll accept it. No, you have the feeling right now. Your expectations are being played out right now, right? Whatever you ask right now shall be given to you. It doesn't matter what you asked 5 minutes ago, 5 years ago, the last year. Who are you right now? So right now I have this expectation that's aligned to this belief, right? It's aligned to this feeling that I don't like. The feeling is irrelevant. The feeling is simply a feeling. It is just emotion. It is just you're experiencing this feeling from a certain vantage point in a certain direction because you have a belief or expectation. Now simply change the belief or expectation right now. You don't have to affirm it forever. You simply have to affirm it right now in this moment. Take a deep breath. Don't try to run from the emotion. You're divine. You don't run from shit. All right? Whatever situation you're in, you created it. It's from you. You simply accept it as one possibility out of infinite. It's simply one. This moment is one possibility out of infinite. That person is one version of them out of infinite. That situation you're in is one version of the situation out of infinite. The moment you become attached to it, trying to suppress it and run from it and change it, right? That's why we have all of these Bible stories, all these spiritual stories about not trying to change shit, right? When we go out there and we try to change something, we attach ourselves to it. We're saying that it's bigger than us, when the only thing to change is self. You're forgetting that it comes from you. You think that it's real. You think that it's God, right? Nothing that changes is real. The only thing about you that never changes is I am. Is your awareness that I am. You are the infinite, changeless, divine being in the middle of this reality that is changing in every moment. Everything is changing at every moment. Okay? Put something on a pedestal is simply, it's simply putting it above yourself, right? So let me put it like this. Anything that you believe is solid, anything that you believe cannot change, you're putting it on a pedestal. Anything that you feel threatened that it's bigger than you, you're putting it on a pedestal. All right, in the simplest terms. But hold on to that question. We can dive into that. All right. So what you are is what you have been. What you will be is what you do now. So quote from Buddha. Wise, right? All these spiritual teachers, wise, right? Saying it's like they have one message trying to tell you in a whole bunch of different ways. Okay, maybe if I give it to your dense headed ass this way. What you are is what you have been. What you will be is what you do now. See how I highlighted the word now. Now. Not what you're going to do after you heal. Not what you're going to do after you pull up this feeling of wholeness, but what will you do now? Okay? So many live trapped in the default self, the inherited self, the wounded self, the socially shaped self. But the awakened one asks, who am I choosing to be today? Not as performance, but as embodiment. Right? It's a difference between me thinking that I have to go out there and act as if something versus embodying. Right? Embodying is all mental. I allow my third dimensional personality to do whatever, think whatever, be whatever, right? But I understand that I am greater than that. I transcend that. I am the stillness above, right? I am the ever-present consciousness above that is dictating the story as we go through life. Okay, so Jeremiah 1:5, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Then Psalm 82:6, you are God's, and all of you are children of the Most High. Healing has been turned into a ladder of worth. We chase after enoughness like it's a prize earned through suffering. Think about that. We chase after enoughness, worthiness, like it is a prize earned through suffering. Like we wear our suffering like a badge of honor. No, I've been through more. No, I've been through more. No, I had it rougher. No, I lost this. All right? It's not a prize. Okay? You are enough. You are worthy. You don't have to suffer at all. Matter of fact, suffering is an illusion because you are the creator of everything. If you're suffering, you're creating that. You're not being tested. Life is a reflection. All right, so what if healing is not about becoming worthy, but remembering that you never weren't? The soul does not need fixing. The soul is whole. It is the conditioning, the illusion, the trauma of forgetting that creates the illusion of fracture. Okay? To heal is to remove what never belonged, to shed false names, foreign beliefs, and inherited fears until what remains is silence. And in that silence, a voice you remember as your own. A lot of this healing journey, right? It's about remembering. It's not about becoming. It's about remembering. I am prosperity. I am whole no matter what I feel, no matter what I think. I am that I am. Okay? I am that I am. All right, so John 1:14, the word became flesh and dwelt among us. To embody is to authorize your spirit and matter. It is to stop waiting for permission. It's to stop waiting for permission. Okay? And to speak with the voice of the one within. Jesus representing your I am awareness, all right? This is what Jesus represented, your I am awareness, trying to teach you how to walk through life, your spiritual big brother, saying, do not worship me, be like me. Okay? Jesus did not simply teach the kingdom, he walked as it. He knew you do not seek the light. There's nothing out there. There's nothing to seek out there. The more that I sought for God, the more, this is the spiritual saying or the quote, right? When we search for God outside of us, all we find is ourself, because everything out there is simply a mirror, simply a reflection. But once I went within myself, then I found nothing but the divine, nothing but God. Okay? You do not seek the light, you are the light. Once you stop identifying with the shadow. Okay? Why do you, it's a quote by Kabir, one of the Indian mystics, okay? Why do you go on polishing your ego when your soul is already luminous? Why do you go on polishing? Why do you go on polishing your ego when your soul is already luminous, okay? All of our striving to perfect the ego is like polishing a mirror that was never meant to reflect itself. All of our striving to perfect the ego. Think about this, right? This is that thought. This is that healing thought, right? We're just trying to heal our ego, our idea of separation, right? This is all we're doing, okay? All of our striving to perfect the ego is like polishing a mirror that was never meant to reflect itself. Your ego was never meant to reflect who you really are. My bad, y'all. I was thirsty. The water was good as hell, too. When your what is luminous? When your soul is already luminous, your soul. Why do you go on polishing your ego when your soul is already luminous? Okay, so the ego, let's talk about the ego. The ego in its hunger for approval, right? These are aspects of the ego. In its hunger for approval, achievement, and image, convinces us that if we shine it bright enough, we will finally be enough. We chase credentials. We chase personas. I have to be this person to get these things. We chase accolades. Buffing the surface, hoping it will buy us peace. But the mystic whispers, you are polishing the wrong thing. The ego can only reflect separation. The soul is the light. The journey of healing is an endless journey. We say this all the time, right? We say that shit all the time, right? Healing never ends. Of course it doesn't. By you searching for things to heal, you're just going to continue to put on personalities that will find more and more things to heal. Like that is the catch. For searching to become worthy, you will just find more and more things that you have to work on to feel worthy. It's a never-ending thing. It's never ending. So it's not about becoming anything. Who do I have to become is the wrong question. The right question is, what do I have to remember? The remembrance is that you are divine. You are all that there is. You can never be anything less than worthy or whole or complete. Right now, you are every version of yourself. You are just taking on the personality of one perspective. But all versions are within you. Anything that you can imagine, you are experiencing that right now somewhere. Okay? Your soul is already radiant. It doesn't need enhancement. It needs remembrance. True transformation is not the glorification of the mask, but the gentle unveiling of what the mask was hiding. Kabir's words are an invitation to stop the compulsive self-improvement. The compulsive self-improvement. Stop it. Stop the compulsive self-improvement rooted in fear, in lack, in mistrust, and unworthiness, and instead return to the stillness beneath all identity. The soul's luminosity isn't earned. You don't earn your right to feel like you are source. You simply know. The soul's luminosity isn't earned. It is revealed the moment you stop mistaking the ego's polish for your true brilliance, right? After we got off live, because my phone died last night, but after we got off the live discussion, I was going over in my mind some of the questions, right? And, as I was going through them, a lot of them felt as if we were arguing for our limitations, right? I just still need to do some things to feel this way, right? Maybe there's just something I need to work on or find so I can heal that part of me, right? Or, how long until I actually can feel and know that I am source? I understand it in theory, but how long until I actually feel it, right? These are all illusions of the ego. The ego will always push separation, right? The key is to understand that you are who you are no matter what. Whether you feel like you are source or not, you are. Whether you feel worthy or not, you are. I am worthy no matter what. Whether you feel prosperous or not, you are. You could be nothing less because source is within you. Source could be nothing less. Whether you feel forgiven or not, you are. You could be nothing other than forgiving. Whether you feel loving or not, you are the perfect example of love. You could be nothing less because source is within you. So when I talk about detachment, and I say it in a very non-traditional way, I'm not just talking about from your desires. I'm talking about from those things as well, that striving. Put it down. It's exhausting, right? It is simply the ego's lie. This is the illusion. If you are waiting until the moment you feel perfect to know that you are source, you will be waiting forever. This is a knowing. This is an assumption. It is a declaration. Thou shalt decree a thing and it shall be. It doesn't say whatever you feel, that's the truth. As a man thinketh in his heart. It doesn't say as a man feels in his heart, so is he. It doesn't say the moment you feel worthy. It says thou shalt decree a thing, what you thinketh in your heart. Okay? The heart is deceitful. Who can know it? The heart is deceitful. Who can know it? Your feelings are deceitful. Who can know it? You will never master them. You will never get to a point where you finally say, oh man, now I always feel worthy. You will get up sometimes and you will question it, but you are worthy no matter what. It is a knowing, not a feeling. Detached. This is the ego trap. To tell you that you have to work harder. You have to impress this subconscious mind. You have to do all of these things and say affirmations 1,000 times a day. You have to know. That no matter what, even when I do not feel like this is true, it is true because it could never not be true. It is a declaration. It is as simple as that. It is as simple as that, all right? So the soul's luminosity, your worthiness, your divinity, your prosperity isn't earned. Even Jesus said this, right? Who can earn anything? Who is worthy of anything? It is yours by consciousness. It is yours simply by consciousness. Look through the world. What is earned? What is earned? Who is worthy of anything? Everyone is critiqued. Everyone is judged. We believe no one is truly worthy, right? We have 1,000 different ways to measure our morality. Who is worthy by any of those? It is only about what you expect, what you decree to be true. The story that you are telling, your expectations, this is your power, okay? Your worthiness isn't earned. You just have it, whether you want it or not, whether you feel it or not. Your divinity is not earned. You can't earn it. You already have it. Your worthiness, you already have it. Your prosperity, too bad, you already have it, whether you want it or not. Whether you believe it or not, whether you feel it or not. Your feeling, your heart is deceitful. Who can know it? Who can know it? Who are you to judge what your feelings are? They're simply based on a story. There is only one feeling. There is one emotion, and it is infinite consciousness, infinite intelligence. It is source energy. It is life force running through you. That's it. That's the only energy. That's the only emotion. There is only one power, and that is source. That is light. There is no opposite power. There is no devil. There's no other thing. There's just one. There is the divine, and it flows through you. Now, you have an ego that creates stories. It says things will work out or things won't. And so now it provides a filter for you to see life through. You don't see reality as it is. You see reality how you are. What you see, right, is not defining that thing. It's defining you. So as that energy flows through you, your ego, boom, attaches to that energy. And because of whatever story you're telling, you feel negative or positive. If you feel scared because you have some bullshit story, you're going to feel anxiety. It's not a time to suppress or run from it. It's just an emotion. It will pass. This too shall pass. The heart is deceitful. Who can know it? Fear, happiness. The heart is deceitful. Who can know it? It is just a feeling, right? Why is it deceitful? Why can you not know it? Because it's based on a story of your ego. And your ego is not real. It's just a collection of thought processes that has helped you get to this point of your life. That's it. It's helped you survive. It serves its purpose by helping you to survive. It's not against you. It's not trying to break you down. It is just illuminating a story that you've had to hold on to. But right now, you don't need to hold on to it anymore. Just because you feel a certain way does not mean you need to allow the story to go in that same direction. You simply use that emotion to challenge what is up here, to say, oh, no. I beautifully released that old version of me. That version of me doesn't need to be healed. It was perfect for the situation I needed it in. You are perfect. You could never be anything less than perfect. You are every single version of yourself right now wrapped into one, just looking out from one perspective. Every part of you is perfect. Don't judge any part of you. See it all as perfect. And when you start loving every version of you, now you can choose easier. I have this anxiety. What's the story? Okay, that's the story. Let's tell a more beautiful story. This is what I actually want to experience. Now you become the alchemist. And that energy, that emotion does not run you. It simply becomes something for you to ride in the direction of what you want. Voila, this is beautiful. This is magic. You are the alchemist. You are the alchemist. You are that divine, infinite intelligence. You are focusing God power in every moment. Every moment you can tell a story of what you want. That is poetic. You are poetry. You are walking poetry. You are the walking author, editor, publisher, right? Main character, the reader, the viewer, the purchaser. You are every single part of this. Okay? You're every single part of this. Right? Every single part of this, all right? So to embody your divine self, right? I'm gonna get to those questions. I just wanna stay on topic. I'm in flow right now, all right? To embody your divine self is not arrogance, it is surrender. It is no longer negotiating with the world about who you are. You don't negotiate with terrorists, man. I don't argue for my limitations. I do not negotiate with terrorists, okay? It is standing in your temple, in the home of the divine. My Father's house has many mansions. You are the Father's house. You are the temple of the Most High, and saying this is where God speaks. You are standing on holy ground right now because you are there. Do you understand that? Do you truly know that? Whether you feel like it or not, you are standing on holy ground right now because God is within you. Stand in your power. This is where God speaks. This is where God speaks, okay? Romans 12:2. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. What does it say before this? Do not conform to the world. Be not conformed to the world. We do not tell the story of what we see. We tell the story of what we want. You don't see people for how they are. We see people for how we want them to be. Forgive others so your Father in heaven can forgive you. What does this mean? It doesn't mean sit around and forgive, but don't forget. Okay? It doesn't just mean do this for some kind of karma. It's because you are the creator and they are just versions of you. And if you forgive them and truly see them how you want them to be, guess what? Now you get a new version of them. Now that version of them that's in this reality, you jump to a different reality where you can get the version of them that you want. Forgive others so your Father in heaven can forgive you. But if you do not forgive others, then your Father in heaven cannot forgive you. What does that mean? If your Father in heaven, quote unquote, cannot forgive you, keep in mind, God is infinite love. God doesn't judge or condemn because God doesn't judge you. God just reflects perfectly what you want. This is infinite love we're talking about. So what does this mean? Forgive others. But if you do not forgive others, your Father in heaven can't forgive you, can't be in alignment with you. Your Father in heaven would never see them that way. However, we have to reflect them because this is your expectation. This is who you are. This is what it means. They are you. They are you. You see them as you want to see them so they can be the version of them that they actually want to be, right? That they actually want to be. Okay, so your identity is not your fate. It is your frequency. And frequencies can shift. With every belief, posture, word, and decision, you are tuning yourself to a version of reality. To choose a higher self is not delusion, it is divine permission. Act as though I am and I will be. The world reflects not who you are in theory, but who you are in embodiment. Embodiment is simply the decision I am that I am no matter what. I am source no matter what. I am all there is no matter what. I am divine, abundant, prosperous, perfect, whole, worthy. I am the magnet that everything draws to. I am me, and everything that I want is drawn to me no matter what. No matter how I feel. I am worthy no matter what. It doesn't matter how you feel. Whether you want to feel worthy or don't. Whether you think you still have to heal to feel worthy or not, you are still worthy. You could not shake it off you if you tried. It is coming into that knowing of who you are. Absolutely, no matter what, okay? So, this is not performance. This is alchemy. The world reflects not who you are in theory, but who you are in embodiment. And when you shift, reality must shift to match you. This is not performance, it is alchemy. So Proverbs 23:7, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Not as he feeleth, right? Because the heart is deceitful, who can know it? As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. If you believe you are broken, you will act as if your power is borrowed. You believe that you have to earn it back, right? Right now I don't feel good, so I'm not powerful. I got to earn it back by doing all these things and conjuring up some imaginary feeling that's not even permanent so I can feel worthy, so I can be powerful for a little bit of time until the world slaps me back down. What sense does that make? What sense does that make? No? If you believe you are divine, you will walk with the authority of heaven. This is what consciousness is. This is what presence is. I am that I am no matter what. When I talk about wavering, I'm talking about wavering in consciousness. I'm talking about falling and believing that you are a victim to your thoughts and you are a victim to your feelings. You're not. This is why Jesus said, what? You would not have power over me if not given to you from above. No thought, no feeling has power over you unless given by you. You are the one above, right? You are the one above. All right, so not because you are playing pretend, but because your beliefs activate your embodiment. Every avatar begins as belief, but belief, when truly felt, when felt fully, becomes flesh. This is the true meaning of incarnation, right? The word becoming you, the word becoming flesh. It's incarnation. You are the word. Let me rewind that. Make sure that it hit fully, okay? The word became flesh. You are the word becoming flesh. You're speaking words right now. You are the word becoming flesh. You are the incarnated version of the divine. All right? Isaiah 44:22. Return to me, for I have redeemed you. Return to your knowing of who the hell you are. Return. No matter how many times you fall off, give yourself grace and return, just like Peter when he started sinking because he looked out in the thunder. He saw the storm clouds and he sank. And then Jesus, representing what? Your I am awareness, your knowing that you are the divine, picked his ass up out that water. All you need is me. All you need is source. All you need is your awareness of who you are. All you need is to know that you are the divine, no matter what. And when I say no matter what, I cannot emphasize this enough. No matter what. I cannot emphasize this enough. No matter what. There were no past 2 days. It's about right now. There were no past 2 days, Goddess. You are perfect right now. You've always been perfect. You never were anything less. You were simply remembering yourself incorrectly for the past 2 days. All of that is forgiven and overwritten right now through the knowing of who you are in this moment. No matter what. No matter what, okay? Beneath every version of yourself, you've performed. Beneath every version of yourself that you've performed, there is a blueprint that is untouched by pain. A design uncorrupted by fear. Right? This is the understanding that you are source, is the understanding that fear, joy, anxiety, love, none of these temporary emotions define or change who I am or what direction I'm headed. I can experience all of them, but because I am the divine, I understand that none of these is greater than the other. They simply are byproducts of my personality, of my ego, of the stories that I've been telling. And I challenge those stories in the moment. I continue to grow in the moment, but none of them take me off course. Do you believe truly that if you don't feel good, you're not manifesting as good as when you feel good? Do you believe that? Why do you make up that story? Thou shalt decree a thing and it shall be. Why do you tell yourself that story? You are every version of yourself, every version of you, every possible combination. Every single part of you is perfect. Every single part of you is perfect. The moment that you stop judging pieces of you and you realize that it's all a divine fragment of the whole, it's all a perspective of the infinite that is you, of the absolute perfection, the absolute love, the absolute prosperity, the absolute wholeness, the absolute worthiness of who you are. Once you start looking at yourself this way, you stop judging and condemning aspects of you. You see them all as perfect and you simply choose what you want to be next and you walk as if. No feeling or emotion can touch your I amness. This is why when the Most High, your I am awareness, when Source showed up to Moses as that burning bush, guess what? That fire was burning, but the bush wasn't touched. Your emotions, your feelings, hell, nothing in this reality touches your I am awareness, your knowing of who you are. When you know that you are Source, nothing takes you off the path. This is the ultimate technique, the knowing that you are Source no matter what. The knowing that your choices are final no matter what. Knowing that everything is unfolding for you no matter what. This is the ultimate technique. Once you master your inner thought, your consciousness, your presence, you can lay aside all other techniques. The knowing that you are the divine trumps everything. The law of being trumps everything. It trumps karma. Yes, it trumps karma. It trumps all these other laws. The law of being, who you are being. This is the ultimate. Right? There's nothing greater. All right. So the ancients called it Atman, the eternal self. The Gnostics called it the divine spark, the eternal flame, whatever you want to call it, okay? Jesus called it the kingdom within. But this is a design, this is a part of you that is uncorrupted by fear, untouched by pain. This is the part of you represented by that bush that is untouched by the fire, untouched by external circumstances, unmoved. You are the changeless I am, the formless, the infinite I am in the midst of your eternally changing self. You're changing at every moment. New perspective every moment, right? Okay? But you are unchanging. So one of my favorite quotes from Rumi, you are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. Such a beautiful quote, right? Because where a piece of God is, all of source has to be there. All of it. In every personality, in every fragment of you, in every perspective that you look out in this world from, every part of the divine is there because you are there. You are standing on sacred ground right now because you are the temple. Because God is within you. And every part of God is within you right now. The kingdom is within you. The kingdom. Not a piece of God is within you. The kingdom of God is within you. This is what omnipresent means. Omnipotent. Omnipresent. Doubts have no effect unless you think they have effect. I am that I am no matter what. Everything is unfolding perfectly for me no matter what. But here's the thing, right? Because you don't allow your doubts to take you out of the knowing of who you are. Your doubts are just doubts. They're just stories made up by the ego. However, who you are is changeless. What you have decided is changeless beyond that. Right? I am that I am no matter what. No matter if I doubt, no matter if I fear, no matter if I have anxiety, I am that I am. All right. So to heal is to come home to this, to remember that the avatar you've been becoming was always the truth behind the veil. This is what that rising in consciousness. So as you pull up your consciousness, you are lifting up the veil. It's equal, right? They're not mutually exclusive. Is that what that means, right? As you are lifting up your consciousness, you are lifting up the veil. As you are lifting up your presence and the awareness that you are source, you are lifting up the veil. And all illusions fade. You cut through the illusion. Your emotions are illusions. Everything that you see is an illusion. How people act is an illusion. It's all an illusion. It's all meaningless until your divine ass gives it meaning. Thou shalt decree a thing and it shall be. All right? So in closing, ask yourself not, how do I become? How do I become is the wrong question. How do I embody this frequency? How do I become this person that I want to be? This is the wrong question. What do I need to remember is the right question. You need to remember that you already are that. You can never not be that. All versions of you are within you right now. You have the key to open up any part of the mansion, right? My father's house has many mansions. You have many personalities in that one avatar. You can change your perspective whenever. You can change the direction of your life with a simple choice. I don't choose that. I choose this. This is unfolding for me no matter what. You can make the choice, right? You are the power, right? So you were never too broken to be divine. Oh, excuse me. You were never too broken to be divine. You simply forgot that you already are. So John 14:2, like I've been saying, right? In my Father's house are many mansions, and every mansion is a version of you, waiting to be chosen, entered, and lived from within. Okay? I'm about to scroll back up in a second. Man, I was sitting here earlier today, chilling. I was just on the computer, man. I didn't take a trade today, but I was on the charts, closed the chart, and I heard this squeaking. It's like, damn, is there a fucking rat or a mouse in here running around? It was the people cleaning the windows that were falling from the roof on that little wooden thing that they sit on. I turned around and me and this dude just had a staring contest for a while. It tripped me out for a second, but I couldn't act like I was scared. So I had to act like I was tough, you know. Shit scared the hell out of me. I was like, man, is somebody in my crib? They usually give an announcement before they do that, but they didn't do that today. Let's see here. Oh shit, my bad. Let me open it up. Let's get to it. Let me find it. Okay, so when it comes to pursuing your passion, they say follow your heart. I'm assuming you said why, because I said the heart is deceitful. When I talk about the heart is deceitful, I'm talking about emotions and feelings. Okay, so there's two ways you can think of the heart. You can think of the heart in terms of emotions and feelings, which is what we typically associate it with. But then you also think about the heart in terms of righteousness and integrity. So when we talk about following your heart, when we talk about movement, keep in mind that keeping an actual open heart center, an open heart chakra, is associated not with your feelings, happy, joy, all that, but it's actually kept open by what? Righteousness and integrity. Being somebody who does the things that you're going to say that you are going to do. Now, who can determine righteousness? Right? Even in scripture, it says, think righteous, right? Don't sin, take the righteous path, things like that. What does this mean? You know what the next thing for you to do is. All right. First of all, you have to know yourself. To walk righteous, you have to know what you want. So I always give the example of talking to women. If I'm a man and I want to be with multiple women, what is the righteous thing for me to do? It's for me to do that, but to also do it in a righteous way. So if I'm walking in righteousness, I'm doing the things that I want to do. Can be with multiple women, okay? Now, I have to have an open throat center because the heart, right, flows through the throat center as well. So I have to be speaking in righteousness, okay? So what does that mean? It means I tell people that's what I want to do. All right. I tell people that's what I want to do. So when we talk about following your heart, right, it's more so aligned with righteousness. If we take that in the wrong way from a worldly perspective, people can get into trouble because they will think that their emotions are what they should follow. Oh, if it feels good, then I should do it. And we know that's not always the case, right? Because what you are doing that feels good could be harmful to yourself, could be harmful to others. People usually use that, as an excuse to do wrong by people. To just do whatever feels good to them, and they have a good excuse. But it's about walking in righteousness. What's up? All right, let me see. Let's get to these questions. What does it mean to not be equally yoked? All right, we getting into relationship topics now. It means to only deal with women that like you, or women to only deal with men that like you, right? Oftentimes, if I have a low sense of self-worth, which it seems that more than a few people have, I will take someone pulling away as an invitation for me to pour in more, right? Why is it that so many people will perform for someone who does not really want to be with them? Well, when you think about how this world kind of teaches us to find validation, it's going to be very performance-based. We've learned how to perform since we were children, right? You come out of your parents' womb and you have kids running up to their parents being like, okay, hey, Mom, how does this look on me? How does this outfit look? Right? They got on a pair of jeans with a skirt on top of it. They got a long sleeve button up on with a damn, tutu on the top. And the mom is like, oh my God, this is beautiful. Right? Because you know that child's sense of self-worth is attached to how you respond. Then we go to school and we're taught, if you do good grades, you get a sticker. Right? You're a good reader. right? They teach you how to perform. Your parents teach you how to perform as well. This is what it means to be a good child, to be a good kid, right? This is what it means to talk to elders. So then we get into the corporate world, right? And we perform for performance reviews, all these things. Then we get into relationships and we start performing for people, right? Oh, I'm a good woman. I can't wait to have a good man so I can show that I'm a good woman so people can see, right? People don't want to be alone. People even have children and they want to be validated by their kids. Am I a good mother? Am I a good father? Right? So we're in this constant trap of seeking validation. Now, where this becomes dangerous is when we step into love, okay? And instead of looking for people who like us, who pour into us, we take that same performance mindset into relationships. It's actually especially dangerous for men. It's dangerous for women and men, but I'll tell you why it's even more dangerous for men, from my perspective, my opinion. It's because men are also given another, right, aspect. We're told, what makes you a good man? If you ask most people what their definition of a good man is, what are they going to say? They're going to say all the things that you do that benefit them. You're a provider, you're a protector, you do this, he pays this, he's yada, yada, right? So now, if you only derive your sense of self-worth, right, by what you can do for people, guess what? When somebody pulls away, what are you going to do? You're going to say, oh, shit. Let me show you more. Let me give you more. You must not see how good I am, right? And this is why so many people, men and women, get out of relationships. And what do they say? I just did all this. I love them. I poured into them. I was honest. I did all this. I was such a good person, and they still left. Well, let's really think about that psychologically. You can't bribe someone into loving you just by doing a bunch of stuff for them, right? Like me trying to show that I'm a good man, that can't change someone's mind and make them say, oh, you know what? I want to be with him now. It's bribing. So when we go into a relationship with that mindset, I'm trying to bribe somebody to be with me, then you're going to lose from the jump, right? Because it's very difficult to even see rejection when we're walking through life like that. And where we're going through life trying to seek validation from that other person. We might not consciously know it, but that's what we're doing. So typically, that whole not being equally yoked, that can be dissolved by just finding people that like you. Finding people that like you. But a lot of people get into that difficult situation by not really realizing the programming that they've been placed under their entire life, right? And then trying to go out there and seek validation from their spouse, right? Hell nah, kindness for sure does not guarantee reciprocity. Kindness really doesn't guarantee anything. You just do it because that's who you are. Kindness, you do it because that's who you are. Love, you do that because that's who you are. Right? You do all these things because that is who you are. But the moment that you are negotiating, let's think about it even like this, right? Why do also I see a lot of people that don't get what they want, even on the manifestation path, is because they believe that they can bribe source. Let me give an example. You know you need money. You've been struggling with money. You know you need it. And so you got $5 left. You need 20. You need 20, you got 5. So you go out and you see somebody who's begging for money on the corner. And you're in your mind, you're like, oh, you know what? God, if you see me do this, you know I need money. You see me giving this money, you know I need it. Bless me with more. Bribing. Testing God. This is the meaning of testing God, right? Because I'm doing this, I should get more. When really, why you give is just because of who you are. It's just who you are. You are infinite prosperity. You can get prosperity no matter what. You don't have to give anything to get prosperity, to be honest. You just do that because that is who you are. You are prosperity. You can give freely. You can give freely. Everything that you give will be given back to you. So you can give without a thought because that is who you are. But the moment you turn it into a bribery game, right, you can't get what you want. Because what are you doing? You're doing with hidden motive. This is even what Scripture says. Whatever you ask in the Father's name will be given to you. Ask without hidden motive. What is hidden motive? I need prosperity from this. right? Oh, I'm showing them love. I need to get love back. Okay. So once we start making this about a validation thing, an exchange thing, okay, now we're moving backwards. If they pull away when they're with you, I would simply ask you, man, do you want to be with somebody who pulls away? I don't. No, you don't. Yeah. And then, I discussed another version of someone is that, and see, that's why sometimes when it comes to the relationship talks, I can answer it in two different ways. So let me just stick to because I can answer it I can meet wherever you're at, right? I can answer it if you want to know from a law of the assumption perspective, or if you simply want to know it from a worldly protect your mental health aspect, we can do that as well. So if you're looking at it from a mental health aspect, right? Somebody's pulling away from you, I would ask you, do you want to be with somebody who's pulling away? Now, if we are talking about this from everybody is you pushed out, everybody is you perspective, which they are, then one of those reasons is that you're not choosing yourself. But it's also about your expectations of them. Are you bringing expectations from previous relationships into this? So everything that you experience is truly a report card. Take that as literally as possible. If someone is pulling away from you, all right, it might not even necessarily be your expectation about them in general, but it could be your dominant expectation about women or men as a whole. What is the story that you tell? Do you believe, right, that you typically get ghosts, that a lot of people waste your time? I've heard certain people argue for extreme limitations. Oh, I cannot tell people exactly what I want in a partner straight up, because then they'll pretend to be that, and then they'll just do those things to get me, and then they'll leave. That's a hell of an assumption, right? And if you have an assumption like that, I hope you are prepared to experience it, to live through it. So every time that we go through something, somebody's pulling away, what about you, right, actually expected this? All right. What story? Because it is all you. You're going to have to drill down into your thoughts and say, okay, where am I expecting this? From this person, from this situation? Where am I expecting this? And then you're going to have to start telling a different story, right? But people only pull away because that's the story that you're telling. Because that's the script that you're giving them. Right? Whatever script that you give somebody, whatever you're expecting, the version of that person whose free will aligns with what you want shows up. So that's why you never go into it to change that other person. You change your expectations, who you are, right? Your beliefs. And you allow another version of them to show up, right? Let me put it in a different way that might make a little bit more sense, okay? If you constantly go through everything is a byproduct of you. So what happens if you go into a situation, you get out of that situation and you do not change? Let's say somebody ghosts you, somebody breaks up with you, somebody cheats on you, somebody abuses you, whatever the case may be, insert whatever. You're in a situation with them, you walk out of that situation, you stay the same, you do not change. What happens is that person had a vibration, they had a frequency that they were on. So did you, all right? Y'all met. Now, if you walk out and you do not change, guess what? You're on the same vibration. Now, what can you attract on this vibration? You can attract more of the same. So you're gonna get more of the same types of scenarios. This is why every time something happens, you have to look at it like a report card. What can I learn? How can I expand? How can I grow? How can I challenge myself? Every situation you should be learning from. One of the best questions, right? If I could not blame that person for anything, what was the problem? What happened? If I'm not allowed to blame them for shit, what happened? What was my expectation? What was the story that I was telling? Right? How did I identify as? People say, whoa, what you mean? Like, I'd never expected them to cheat. It came out the blue. I never expected them to ghost me. It came out the blue. Do you identify as someone who gets cheated on? Do you believe that you can get cheated on? Do you believe that people cheat on you? Is that your expectation? Do you believe that people ghost you? So maybe it's not even about that specific person, right? Maybe you did think this person was different, but you had an underlying belief that had to be proved correctly. This is why, right? If you ever know the most bitter people, women that hate men, men that hate women, all women are like this, all men are like this, they will always find a way to find that same type of man. Even if they had a good dude, even if they had a good woman, they'll find a way to fuck it up. They will find a way because universal law has to play out. Your beliefs have to play out. Your expectations have to play out. You're not a victim. You're not being tested. You're simply being confronted by yourself over and over again. And guess what? The source, the God within you is so faithful. They say, you know, I can do this all day. I can do this for eternity. I can do this over and over and over and over again. This life, next life, next life, next life. We can do this forever. This is the game. This is the divine game. But you also have to think this is how much Source loves you. Is that you're constantly confronted with aspects of yourself trying to give you the opportunity to change. You're just confronted with yourself over and over again. There's nothing out there to blame. There's nothing out there to change. There's nothing out there to be mad at. It's all perfect. It's all divine. That God is that broke your heart. That God that broke your heart. They're still divine. They're still Source. They're still parts of you. So it's about you confronting yourself. You confront yourself. Okay. That is a limiting belief, right? That it would be such an underlying issue that it's difficult to get rid of. That is a limiting belief. That's a limitation. It's not. It's about what you're choosing right now. If you believe that the belief is so deep that, you know, it takes, I'm not saying that you're saying this, but if you believe that that belief is so deep that you have to work on it over and over and over again, well, guess what? It is. You're creating the illusion that it takes time. You're creating the illusion that it takes a long time, that you have to do all this subconscious work. That's why even believing in the whole, you know, you got to reprogram the subconscious mind can be so dangerous sometimes, because where does that end? When do you know it's done? You just create this timeline, right? You don't chase. You're not a chaser, but anytime you put something in the future, guess what? You're creating a timeline to go chase some shit down. You're really saying, I'm not worthy for what I want right now. I have to go get it. You're worthy right now. Say the word right now. Thou shalt decree a thing. Whatever you ask in the Father's name will be given to you. Right? Will be given to you. You're worthy right now. You only have to ask once. Right now. Not tomorrow, not yesterday, right now. This is the only moment that matters. Okay, there's nothing so deeply, you know, down there. Even if you think about it from a perspective of the subconscious mind, your subconscious mind accepts everything. It just says yes. The God within you, your higher self, your subconscious mind, the superconscious mind, whatever different aspects you want to confuse yourself and break it down to, the power within you says yes to everything right now. I am Source no matter what. This is what I attract no matter what. And I return to that awareness indefinitely, forever, until I get exactly what I want. And I don't settle for less. I see things as I want to see them. I forgive others. I see the perfect image of them. What is perfect? What is righteous? The version of them that I want to experience. That's what I see. No matter what. And I return to that version of them until it plays out. I don't settle for less. I do not settle for anything less. I refuse. You are the operant power. If you decide in your mind that you will settle, guess what? You will get less. If you decide that you would not settle, guess what? You will always get what you want. It's all about you. It's not about anyone else. You are the operant power. Why do the affirmations work? Because you are. Why do the visualizations work? Because you are. But you don't need all those things. Those are just good tools. Right? You don't do those things to get anything, right? It's like you don't pray to a God out there. You don't do affirmations out there to change things out there. You do them to declare who you are being right now. And who you are being radiates. Who you are being changes everything. You change everything. It's all about you. It's not about them. It's not about that thing. It's not about anything but you. The God's already done his job. All realities are done. All versions of them are finished. The infinite versions of them that you could receive and the infinite ways that you can run into them is already done. You're the one who directs that power. You're the vessel. You are the sword. You are the operant power. You are the operant power of the infinite power. It's all about you. Okay? Don't settle for less than you deserve. You a God. You a goddess, man. You don't settle. You don't settle. You don't chase. You don't run from things. You don't try to suppress your emotions. You simply transcend them. I am source. I am prosperity no matter what. Right? Nothing takes me off course. Just because I'm fearful right now, or I'm in anxiety right now, or I feel happy right now, doesn't make me any less or more of who I am. I simply am. I am. You are. I am that I am. You are divine. You are that God power, that infinite consciousness. No matter what. It's a knowing, right? It goes back to the first question. It's not about who do you have to be. That's the wrong question. What do you have to remember? You have to remember that that version of you that you want to be already exists. The version of you that is so irresistible, so magnetic, right? That walks into a room and women just look at you. That every time you have a conversation with a woman, she starts thinking about marriage. Every time you have a conversation with a man, he wants to open his wallet. He wants to go buy you a ring right now. He cannot let you go. That version of you, it already exists within you. There's no work to do. It's simply a perspective. It's simply a knowing. Right? It's simply a knowing. That version of you exists. You're worthy of it. Okay? The version of you that has the money that you want. The version of you that just has enough, that has all the bills paid, that doesn't think about money. Right? That lives a low-key life, that takes care of his family. Right? That grows his food. Whatever you want. That desire within your mind is holy. Why is it a desire in your mind? Because you're in alignment with it. You couldn't want it if you were not in alignment with it. Some people want to be doctors, some don't. Some want to be rich, some don't. Some want to be farmers, some don't. Some want to live in a city, some don't. Some want to live alone, some don't. Some want to be married, some don't. Some want kids, some don't. You want it because you're in alignment with it. Trust it. Trust it, know it. You are divine no matter what. You're in alignment with that thing. You are worthy for that thing no matter what. I'm hoping that I'm getting y'all's minds right, man. You deserve it no matter what. No matter what. What if you feel like you still have to heal? What if you feel like you just don't feel it? I just don't feel worthy though. I feel like I'm lying to myself. Doesn't matter. You're still worthy. Doesn't matter. What if you've just been tired today, you feel lazy, you don't know if you're there yet, and you've been doing all these things wrong in the past, and you've been going down the wrong path for just so long that you just don't know. Doesn't matter. You still are, no matter what. You have to declare it, no matter what. All right? What if you've been lazy with your meditations, and you haven't really been asking, and your mind's been wandering for the last day? Am I still worthy right now? Yes, no matter what. You're in alignment, no matter what. You have to say it. You have to declare it. Drop, detach from the ego. The ego does what it does. The ego just runs around here, right? Jumping at everything like it's a fire, thinking everything is an emergency. Your feelings do not make you any less worthy. If it changes, it's not real. The only thing that's real is the I am within you. Even your body, it changes. It's not real. Everything that's out there, the woman that you want, the man that you want, they are not real. The moment that you get it out of your mind that this is a solid, unchangeable thing, right? The easier this will be to you. But the more dense you believe this reality is, right, the less open you're going to be towards miracles, and the more attached you're going to be to these things. Instead of just going within, granting yourself what you want to experience, and then going through life and not accepting anything less. Do you truly understand that you can select the version of whoever you want? Do you truly understand that you can choose the version you want to experience of whoever? You can wake up to a different version of them tomorrow. right now, matter of fact. Right now, you can make the decision that everything changes and you can get a completely different version of them in an hour who doesn't even remember some of the things that have happened negatively between y'all, because guess what? You don't identify with the version of you that experienced that anymore. You've dropped it. And now you got a completely different version of you, and they don't even, that shit never even happened to them. This is the power that you have, right? When you stop believing that the past and the future and the thoughts in your mind are real, they're just thoughts. The past is just a thought. Your future is just you remembering a different version of you. Two people could sit in the same room, experience the same thing, have two completely different views of it. Two completely different realities, same experience. Your thoughts are not real. They're not. Stop identifying with the ones you don't want. Detach from it. Your emotions aren't real. These people aren't real. They're simply illusions. Well, they're real in their own sense, but in your reality, they are simply an aspect of your consciousness in your reality. All right? I really enjoy these talks that we have. Truly enjoy them. All right, what other questions y'all got? I know y'all got something else. Been kind of quiet today. Typically, y'all saying a whole bunch of stuff. You the best, man. I appreciate that. I'll take that affirmation. I'll accept that. Enjoy this too, man. Those are the main two. I answer them good enough for you. Still got anything else you want to follow up with on it? Y'all being great listeners today. I appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate you, Miss Bombshell. Did you do your affirmations last night? Yeah, I remember it. Did you do your affirmations last night? How do we get to the version of ourselves that we desire? The simplest and most direct way. Amen to that. Good. The simplest and most direct way is remembering that there's nowhere to go. There's nothing for you to get out there. It's not about becoming anything different. It's about remembering that that version that you want to be is already within you. You already are that version. Right now, who you are is every single version of you wrapped into one. They are all within you. The version of you that you're experiencing right now is simply based on the perspective that you are putting on. It's simply based on your perspective. And because of all those versions are you, they're all equal. They're all just as divine, just as perfect, just as whole. Then you simply get to that version by declaring that you already are that version. This is why the spiritual teachers, what do they say? The only thing keeping you from getting what you want is that you refuse to believe that you already are that person. You already are that person. No matter what. I already am what I want to be, no matter what. What if you don't feel like you are that person? I already am that version, no matter what. What if I think I still have to do some work? I'm doing work for me, but I already am that version, no matter what. When I say no matter what, I truly mean no matter what. Tap into your power. Don't detach from the ego. The ego is always going to create separation. That's his job. Right? That's the only way that you can experience reality is because you have to have an ego, and it sees separation. This is why you believe that you and your mom are separate when you aren't. You're just one mind. But your ego identifies you as you, me as me, them as them, right? Me, them, it, there, us, them, right? We create these roles and rules to separate us. This is just the ego's doing. Detach from that. No matter what your ego feeds you or thinks, no matter if you feel unworthy or not, you feel like you're that person or not, you have to rest in the declaration that you are that person. Let me give you a metaphysical example, okay? That's the thing, though. That's the thing. Sometimes what I see and what I feel are not that version, so it can be challenging. Who told you that? This is the definition of arguing for your limitations. It doesn't matter what you see, and it doesn't matter what you feel. You are that version. It doesn't matter if you don't see yourself as that version. It doesn't matter if you don't feel like you are that version. You are that version, no matter what. Yes, sure, it could be challenging, but once you come back into that knowing over and over again, I am that I am that version of myself because I declare it to be, no matter how I feel, no matter what I see. Right? The ego is deceiving, right? When we talk about quote unquote Satan in scripture, what does it actually represent? It represents the ego, the parts of you that believe in doubt. Matter of fact, that's a good story. We're going to go over the story of Job again, because I think when I was saying that, I only went over this story for like a couple minutes. Job is the perfect example of this, the perfect example of this rising. All right, so in the story of Job, right, Job was somebody who believed in the material. Okay, so let me put it like this. When we believe that we have to do something to get something, when we believe that we have to praise source, or we have to, we attach our things to a version of us, and we have to pray to the divine for those things, what we are actually acknowledging is that we believe that there's two powers. We believe that there's a potential that we could not give it. So in the story of Job, right, in the beginning it says, let me just go straight through this. I was going to try to shorten it up, but I'm not going to do that. All right, so Job was described as two things. Number one who feared God. And then number two, one who shunned evil. What that means is fearing God means I believe in God, okay? Perfect. Fear, whatever. In Old Testament, fear actually means in awe. It's in awe of God, okay? And shunned evil, meaning he believed in the duality of good and evil, right and wrong, heaven, hell, all right? So he believed in two powers. So in manifestation terms, Job is the one who has realized a desired state right here. He had, in scripture terms, Job was wealthy. He had everything that he wanted. He had money, he had a wife, he had animals, food, he had a good family, all of those things. But what did Satan say? Satan representing your doubts, your fears, anxiety, things that are not real, the illusions, right? Satan is known as the deceiver, all right? Or the accuser or the adversary. So he represents fear, self-sabotage, and limiting beliefs. So what did he say? He says, does Job fear God for nothing? Meaning, does Job get anything out of fearing God? Surely he doesn't just fear God for nothing. He doesn't just worship God for nothing. He isn't in awe of the power within him for nothing. Why is he in alignment with this power? Okay. Does his faith exist without reward? All right. So will the version of you stand when all of the outer evidence is stripped away? So Satan is the part of you that questions your worthiness, your identity, your power. It's the part of you that says, sometimes what I see and what I feel are not that version of me that I want to be, so it can be difficult. That's what represents Satan, right? But those things are illusions. You are divine no matter what, all right? So Job had all these things, and he believed that getting all these things was because he stayed truly 100% faithful to the divine, to source, and he shunned evil, okay? So what did Satan and God decide? Because God just represented your higher self in this aspect. Satan and God said, you know what, take it away. Well, Satan said, take it away. So he took it away. And so now Job speaks with three friends. If you remember in scripture, he speaks with his three friends. Each of his three friends actually represent three aspects of consciousness. Okay, keep in mind, scripture, the Bible, is just you. All the stories are about you. They're you interacting with yourself. So he has three friends: Eliphaz, which represents the intellectual mind, traditional beliefs; Bildad, which represents the voice of moralism, the ego's need for control; and then number three is Zophar, the harsh critic. This is the self-shame. All right, so let's go through each of the three. So his first friend, representing the intellectual mind, our logic, right? Are you sure that I'm worthy enough? Keep in mind the argument each of them makes. These are the common arguments that we make to ourselves on this manifestation journey. All right. So Eliphaz represents the logical voice of conventional wisdom. You must have sinned because God is just. Therefore, your suffering is deserved. It's our intellectual mind. We try to intellectualize the divine, right? You must have sinned. God is just. Therefore, your suffering is deserved. But if you look out there, do you think nobody with the quote unquote how we define sin gets what they want? All the quote unquote people that follow, religious morality, they get everything that they want? No, of course, this is an illusion, but this is how our ego starts to attack us, right? So each of these three friends represent a different aspect of your ego, the battle in your mind, arguing for your limitations, okay? So this is the mind that tries to reason away pain. Oh, I don't feel worthy. It must be because I did something. Let me work harder. Applying formulaic logic to a spiritual process. Manifestation is a spiritual process. It's not a logical process, okay? So this symbolizes the cause and effect. We think because I did this, this will happen. Because I affirm, this will happen. Because I feel bad, it must be I'm out of alignment. Cause and effect. We always think cause and effect. So this is a part of us that we have to kill, detach from, allow it to go, all right? And you'll actually see at the end how Job handled these three parts of his consciousness, all right? So Eliphaz says, right, those who plow iniquity reap trouble. So the voice assumes bad things happen to bad people. Good things happen to good people. We know that's not true. Everything is yours by right of your consciousness. You're worthy of everything. If we were basing worth on human morality, right? What did Jesus say? He says, who is worthy of anything? Who is worthy of anything? It's all given to you by right of consciousness. All right, so Bildad, the second voice. This is the voice of moralism. So Bildad represents the religious, moralizing part of your consciousness that insists if you were righteous, you wouldn't suffer. If I truly understood that I was divine and that I was righteous and I was source, guess what? I would never suffer. I would never struggle. I would never feel down, right? This is what our ego, this is how your mind starts to play tricks with you, okay? How could you be clean if you were born by a woman? Anybody who was born, it references that illusion of original sin, okay? He is the voice of performative righteousness, obsessed with image, law, and behavior, and not inner being. This is the part of you that believes you must earn your manifestation or blessings. I have to be that person. I have to work to be that person, thinking that that person is far off. How do I become that person? Right? This is the wrong question. How do you remember that you already are that person? Okay? So the Bible is telling you, straight up telling you, this is what you're going to face. This is how you rise in consciousness. The third friend, Zophar, the worst of the three. Okay? Zophar is the most brutal. He represents internalized shame, self-criticism, harsh judgment, and the inner critic that says you deserve even worse than you're getting. This is that inner critic, right? You don't even deserve this, right? Look at all the things that you've done in the past. It doesn't matter about the past. All that matters is right now. This is even what the story of the prodigal son was, right? It doesn't matter what you've done in the past. The prodigal son went away. He was at the lowest of the lows. The moment that he came back to his father, representing God, representing your I am awareness, the moment he turned back, his father welcomed him when he was still, quote unquote, far off. Not in distance, but in thought. I don't feel like I'm worthy yet. You are anyway. This is what that story represents, right? All these things are telling you, you don't need anything. You don't need to feel worthy. You simply need to know, assume, declare that you are worthy. Thou shalt decree a thing and it shall be. The instruction book right here, okay? So this is the inner critic that says you deserve even worse than you're getting. He mocks Job's innocence and demands repentance. So Zophar is that voice that whispers, you're unlovable. It's your fault. You should have done more. Right? So these are what these three aspects of your consciousness are. that we have to battle when we're going through this path. The part of us that believes we're not worthy, that we have to act to be worthy. The part of us that believes, oh, if you did good things, you would get good things. When you give a lot of money, well, you get a lot of money. Prosperity happens to good people. Do good to others and you will have good things, right? Like that's the illusion, the illusory thoughts. And then another aspect of Job's consciousness comes in, his wife. Okay, so what does she say? She says, do you still hold fast to your integrity, Job? Curse God and die. If your wife really said this, you would know straight up, she don't need to be around. So obviously this story means a little bit deeper. When we just read these things literally, they don't make sense. And then people are like, oh, they make up something. They grasp at some shit. Sometimes you don't just need to understand, right? No, this is here for a reason. Symbolically, she is the voice of disillusionment, the temptation to give up on your manifestation, to curse the very source within and return to survival mode. In metaphysics, this is the collapse of inner faith. She asks, what is the point? This is all you. Think about it. Every character is you in scripture. Every character is you. Jesus is you. Moses is you. Abraham is you. Every single character is you. Every single one. So Job's wife is you. Why does it say that he's married? Why is it his wife? Because you are married to this third dimensional reality. You're married to the third dimensional reality. You have to go through it. You have to be with it. You're married to it. And so oftentimes when we think that is too real, just like Job's wife said, do you still hold fast to your integrity, curse God and die? We look out at reality and we say, God damn, nothing's happening. Forget these processes. Forget the affirmations, man. Forget this shit. I'm finna go back to what I was doing before. Right? This is you're married to this reality, just like Job is married to his wife. And she said, curse God and die. Okay, so in metaphysics, this is the collapse of inner faith. What is the point? But Job replies with poise. Shall we accept good from God and not trouble? Revealing his understanding that the manifestation process includes darkness as purification and not punishment. Shall we accept good from God and not trouble? All right, now what happens is all those things are taken away. What does this represent? Job loses everything. It represents, in scripture, what we refer to as the wilderness experience. Israelites had to go through the wilderness to get to the promised land. Promised land represents your desires, right? What do we call this in spirituality? We call this the dark night of the soul, the ego death. Okay, so when Job loses his children, wealth, and health, this is the symbolic death of the ego's attachments. All the external validations are removed. It mirrors what mystics call the dark night of the soul, where what you thought you needed is stripped away so that what you truly are can be revealed. All right? And so now what happens when everything is stripped away? When we hit that quote unquote rock bottom, right? That surrendering point, is that Job has another person come talk to him. Elihu, okay? Elihu represents the voice of inner wisdom. This represents Job actually saying, okay, I've been fighting with my limitations. I've been cursing God. Now let me go within and pray. All right? So Elihu appears after the others, younger but wiser, that inner child, younger but wiser. Younger is important, okay? He represents the emergent voice of inner wisdom. Be like children to enter the kingdom. And then the younger but wiser one comes, right? Maybe it's a coincidence. I don't know. All right, the divine observer within who says, I must speak. So he challenges Job's complaints. So finally, Job goes within. He starts to challenge himself. But unlike the friends, Elihu doesn't accuse, because he knows that every version of you is divine, is perfect. So he doesn't accuse. You go within yourself to pray, and you do not beat yourself up, accuse yourself. You simply remind yourself of the truth. He offers a higher understanding. Suffering isn't always punishment. It can be correction, refinement, or revelation. All right. So Elihu says, what God speaks in one way and in two, though man does not perceive it. God speaks in ways that we can't comprehend. God is beyond our comprehension. So this is Job reminding himself, all right, God's ways are beyond mine. All right, what I see out there, right? Thou shalt decree a thing and it shall be. This is the nature of the mirror. Sometimes the mirror looks backwards. Sometimes if you hold your right hand up in the mirror, it looks like your left hand. Right? It looks like things are falling apart from our human perspective, but things are just coming together. Right? What is the purpose of quote unquote negative things? For you to choose what you want. This is the only purpose of them. I'm saying, unless you believe that God is accidental and coincidental and makes mistakes and just does stuff for fun to fuck you over. But no, you are put in those situations so you can get clarity on what you want. Would you know what kind of man or woman you wanted if it wasn't for the ones you didn't want? Would you know what kind of money you wanted to have if it wasn't for the situations where you didn't have money? You get more clarity in these quote unquote negative situations. They're all purposeful. All right. So Elihu, this is the awakening of spiritual discernment, the bridge between human and divine mind. So you have to go within to bridge the gap between your human and divine mind. Right? You're not worthy. That's what the human mind says. You have to go within and bridge the gap. I am worthy no matter what. No matter what my ego says. Even when those thoughts in my mind are racing that I'm not, I simply overcome them. I don't condemn them. I don't tell them to shut up. I don't try to run away from versions of myself. I realize that every version of myself is one aspect of the perfection that I am. I was made in the image of the divine. All right? I simply remind myself of who I am. I am divine no matter what. I am source no matter what. It's all working out for me no matter what. I am above my thoughts and feelings. I am that I am. All right? So now, once Job starts to go within, right, and soothe himself, now what happens? God speaks from within. And if you notice, at this point, when God starts to speak, all those other voices have gone away by now. All the friends, this is when Job is alone. Even Satan goes away. Why? Because in order to hear the voice of God, guess what? You have to go into the silence. You got the TV on all day. You got motherfucking Instagram up all day. You got people at your crib all day. When is the last time you set an hour, 2 hours aside, simply to sit down, close your eyes, and be quiet? Hear the voice of the Creator. All right? So finally, when all those voices are pushed away, God speaks from the whirlwind. All right? So then the Lord speaks not with comfort, but with questions that shatter the ego. What are the questions that God finally said? Where were you when I laid the foundation of the earth? Can you bring forth the constellations in their seasons? Can you bring forth the constellations in their seasons? Basically, you and I are one, but I'm the one who does the work. I have weapons you do not know of. I have ways you do not understand. Your human mind could not comprehend. Okay? So this is the voice of the higher self, of the divine. It doesn't explain the suffering. It has no need to. Your higher self does not comprehend suffering, does not see suffering. Right? It invites Job into the cosmic vision, right? God is not going to sit here and explain the suffering to you. There is no suffering. There is no right and wrong or condemnation or judgment in the divine mind. God, there's nothing to be forgiven for because God does not judge you of anything. This is infinite love we're talking about. Infinite intelligence. Judgment is a human concept based on our morality that is made from human eyes, human minds, the ego. Right? God doesn't see your suffering. There's nothing. So God will not explain to you why you were suffering. You're the one who all of a sudden is going to come to the realization, oh, I went through that because that had to happen. But that's just the story that you're telling to make it make sense. The truth is that, of course, it wasn't suffering. Of course, it was all working out for you because this was all done by the divine mind. You were just creating the story as you went through it. Okay, so it reminds the soul that manifestation is not micromanaged by logic. You can't micromanage source with your logic. It is woven from the fabric of the infinite. So in manifestation, this is the shift from force to flow, trying to micromanage the divine, like some middle manager, right? From control to communion, understanding that you and the Father are one, but your Father does all the work. So Job rises to the level of consciousness where there is no possibility of unfulfillment. That knowing, right? We talked about this a little bit earlier in the day, that knowing when you rise so high in consciousness of I am divine, I am source no matter what, I am fulfillment no matter what, that even the versions of you that do not get what they want, those versions of you still love them equally. And because you love them equally, you can't resonate with the negative outcome that you do not want to experience. Therefore, it becomes easy to push those things aside. Right? Because everything is from within you, so everything has a vibration. Even the things that you focus on that you don't want, when they come out of you, they have a vibration. So if you react to those thoughts, those things in reality, it has a vibration of something you don't want. You react as if you don't want it. Guess what? Boom, y'all like the magnet. Y'all stuck together now. You are magnetized. But when you look at everything from that higher perspective, there is no such thing as unfulfillment. It's just a part of you. It's just something that has been projected from within you. And it has a vibration of something you don't want, but you're up here. It's just a miracle. You see it as a miracle. It fades away. It's beautiful. It's poetic. This is divine. Right? Very, very divine. Right? How do you detach from the thoughts you don't want to think? When I say detach, don't think of it in terms of feelings. Think of it in terms of mindset. Think of it in terms of making that declaration that they're just thoughts. All I am, all you are thoughts. You get to choose which ones you resonate with. Some of them might, scare you, make you feel anxiety. But you don't have to resonate with those. You have to be so conscious that from moment to moment, you're the one who's telling the story about what things mean. You have to catch yourself and say, oh, no, that version of me is perfect, but I don't identify with it. I don't choose that version. Right? Even if it gets to a point where you have to tell your ego straight up, like, hey, look, shut up. You got me this far, and I appreciate you. I love you. You are divine, right? You helped me. But we're going to do this from my way from this point on. Absolutely. It's just like self-shopping, right? Every moment you're getting provided that divine menu. Everything that you're experiencing is a divine menu. The things that you don't want, it's as if Source is saying, okay, this is what you've been thinking. Choose now. Choose if you want more of it or you don't. Right? And if you look at it for what it is, oh, it's a miracle. I created this. If it's something I don't want, if I still look at it as a miracle, it has to fade away. We don't even resonate. We don't even resonate, right? So, how come it takes so long to wake up? Things change, some things still haven't. I was talking about this with my homeboy. Why it takes so long? Yes, that's a very individual question, right? Some people seem to have been aware forever. Some people seem to take a long time. I know it took me a while. It took me some big moments to shake me out of my thoughts. But if you think of the world like a living being, which it is, right? Gaia, right? If we think of Earth, planet Kai, whatever you want to call it, right? It's a living being. And every single thing on it, let's say every human being is like a cell, okay? And everything is a representation of everything. So just like if you right now look at your body from the outside, from a 30,000 foot view, you look whole, you look complete, you look fine, right? There are processes in your body that have to happen. Certain things have to happen that could even look very chaotic. For instance, you lose a whole bunch of teeth. Have you ever seen like an X-ray of a child before they lose their child teeth? And they have literally all these teeth that are way up here. It looks crazy. But even the process of your body just losing teeth, right? From the outside, you look fine. But when we zoom in, we see those kind of processes. We see cells killing each other, right? We still see certain cells that have different functions. You have brain cells, and their job is what to remember. You have certain muscular cells, and their job is to help you lift things. You have certain white blood cells, and their job is to fight off intruders. Every cell has a purpose, right? It doesn't make one greater than the other, but they all have a purpose in the whole of you. Now we can look at Earth in the same way. Some people have jobs to remember, right? Some people are the heart of the earth, right? Their job is to feel deeper, right? There's our poets and artists, etc., right? Some people's job is to fight for us or for wherever they are. Like that's their purpose. They've been warriors for lifetimes, right? We all have jobs. It doesn't make anybody more important than the other, but we all play a divine role in the wholeness of us. Now, I have had thoughts where I start to have conversations about free will, conversations about free will. And on one hand, of course we have free will. But on the other hand, so many of us have been programmed out of our free will to where the society that we're in right now is not designed for most people to live the life that they want. It is designed for a few people to live the life that they want. Okay? And I think we all see that. Now, we have a collective consciousness. We have to really think about things in a very interesting way when it comes to consciousness. Consciousness manifests things. Consciousness creates reality. If you know the observer effect or the double-slit experiment, matter does not exist without consciousness. Right? The double-slit experiment was a very interesting experiment. Basically, it was that if there is no consciousness around, then matter doesn't exist. Basically, these particles do not collapse, right, into waves until a consciousness is actively placed on it. Meaning that age-old question, if a tree falls in the forest and nobody's around, does it make a sound? The answer is no. There has to be a consciousness around, right? So we've also talked about how there is no past and there's no future. Because they're not, they're just thoughts. There's only now. You experience this linear reality as part of the illusion to help you walk into your manifestations. But if you think about your past and the future, they're both the same. They're simply thoughts in your mind. Now, the same way that we manifest our life with our thoughts, the world, as a collective, we manifest things together. So even certain questions become irrelevant when you really think about it like this. What is one of the questions that become irrelevant? Is Jesus real or not? Is Jesus real or not? It's an irrelevant question. Even if he wasn't, because as a collective consciousness, most people would believe he is real, then he was. Y'all get where I'm going with this? So if we are put in this structure to where our minds create reality, right? We are the ones who create the gates that keep us enclosed in this matrix. We are the ones who create the boundaries. We are the ones who create the American dream, who have bought into the concept of the American dream. We're the ones who have bought into the concepts of democracy, or wherever place that you're in, right? As a collective, our consciousness has manifested the boundaries of this world. Now, just as easily as we created it, it would only take a moment for everyone to switch to something different and for reality to change. Now, getting to that point, how chaotic would that be? Right? How chaotic would that be? Now, I can look at it from two perspectives. I could say, well, I think if everyone is in the right perspective, everything would be fine. And then I would say, well, but people would still have to survive, and certain people could do negative things. But then I'll come to the realization that if most people were going to do negative things, then we wouldn't be able to get out of this construct anyway. All right, so there's a whole bunch of thoughts that there's a whole bunch of different thoughts that I have on this, right? But the bottom line is that as a collective, each one of us is doing what we have to do to uphold this civilization. We all play a role in how this civilization is. We all do, right? If most of us checked out, then society would change. That's just the fact of it, right? Society would change if we change. Society can only follow our consciousness, right? We're not pushing. We tend to think of the future as this place that, we're working really hard in the present moment and we're pushing society into the future. But truly what is happening is our thoughts are pulling us into the future. Our thoughts are being projected from our collective consciousness into the future, piercing through this third dimensional reality, through this linear timeline, and it is pulling us to the future. So the more beautiful a vision of love that we can make together, the better future we'll have altogether. Right? The more fear that'll be instilled from the TV, from the media, right? The more people that buy into that, that's the type of future that we'll have. Okay? None of our thoughts are in vain. As a collective, whatever we are thinking and believing and expecting is projected from within us into the future and pulling us as a collective into the future. The same way that things are doing that from an individual basis, as above, so without, or as above, so below, as within, so without. Right? The same way that we are creating our own reality on a micro level, we're also, as a collective, creating a reality on a macro level. Everything is multidimensional. I constantly say that, right? Like everything is multidimensional. If you want to learn about anything or everything, learn about anything. Everything represents everything. So, another thing is grace, right? Waking up, it's a very personal experience. Some people have very painful awakenings. Some seem to be easy, but it's a very individual process. And the same way that no one could drag me or any of you to your awakening, right? Nobody held your hand and drug you to where you are right now in your consciousness. It was you becoming curious. Somebody could have planted a seed. A whole bunch of people could have planted seeds. None of them seeds were ready to sprout until you were ready to water them. Right? You had to do the work yourself. So, we all have different things that we have to experience in this incarnation. We never know what certain souls need to go through, what they need to learn. Right? Some people have lessons that they need to learn that are more on the spiritual plane. Some people have lessons that they need to learn that are more on the physical plane. We just never really know. Our job is just to give other people the grace and give ourselves the grace that the Most High gave us. This is what unconditional love is. This is what the real unconditional love of the Creator is that Source is within you, loves you unconditionally, and whether you acknowledge Him, believe in Him or not, believe in it or not, believe in this power, love this power back, accept this power, create with this power, you can do whatever you want. It's still going to love you unconditionally. Right? That is beautiful. Still going to love you unconditionally. So, we were given the patience, and instead of being shaken and pushed to wake up, Source came down here within us to experience itself and know itself as Source. And so you're going to have to go through life, and this is how much Source loves you, is that you're constantly presented with who you are over and over and over again in an attempt to wake you up divinely, the perfect reflection. You're never cheated. You're never cheated out of the experience that you create. Right? You always get a byproduct of you. Perfect love. The absolute perfect love. Perfect love is the perfect reflection. It's non-judging. It simply provides to you what you are. Right? It's poetic. It's poetry, man. This life is poetic. I know that water finna run through, boy, your boy. What else y'all got? What else y'all got? What else y'all got? All right, I'll take that silence as everything is clear. We all finna step into a brand new reality right now. Everything that you want is on its way. You already have it. It sure has. It sure has. It's been a good session, man. It's been a good session. Sometimes it takes me a little while to warm up. I always just get on here and I'm like, all right, let's go. And it takes me a little while to really start, getting in the flow. Today, I think I got into flow pretty quickly. Today was a cool conversation. And ask away, my brother, ask away. Affirmation. Oh, I'm gonna still give y'all affirmations. I'm not gonna cheat you. I got you. Don't worry. Don't worry, I got you. And then how can you open your third eye? Lots of different ways. The number one way is going to be diet, right? Diet is, there's so many weapons that are meant to kind of keep us in a lower state of consciousness. The number one thing is going to be your diet. It's going to be, are you drinking good water? Like, are you drinking spring water? Avoiding any kind of treated water, filtered water, because most of that, like the same water that goes in the toilet, is being recycled and treated in plants, and it's being recycled out, right? So avoid that. Yeah, fluoride, no fluoride. But really, it also depends on who you are, right? So we have diets. All right, I was going to try to avoid it, but we have diets that are very specific to us as people. Who you are, your background, your genetic makeup, right? Whether you are highly melanated, you are a carbon being, you are an ether being, or you are not, whether you have neuromelanin or not, you have a different diet that is more conducive to keeping your body healthy, especially those spiritual properties like your pineal gland. So, for instance, we have different, even white and highly melanated people, we have different minerals that we are primarily comprised of. All right, even if you have, so-called African Americans, whatever you want to call us, 3 times as many cells, right? We have shorter intestines, intestine tracts, right? We don't digest certain foods the same way that other people do. So you have to pay attention to what is good to put in your body. You also have to pay attention to what allows you to feel good, all right? But for the most part, what most people should be doing is eating mostly fruits. Mostly fruits and vegetables. Definitely staying away from that processed shit. The processed foods do not help you at all. Highly treated food, even when you're talking about processed meats. If you're slapping a hot dog in between some buns, right, it's going to be very difficult. If you're eating Pop-Tarts for breakfast, your body is probably screaming at you, right? So the cleaner your diet, the better. If you want to start it from a bare minimum perspective, no processed foods. If it's in a box, if it's in a can, don't eat it. Don't put it in your body. All right? If it is, even if you want to eat meat, man, go organic, go grass-fed, right? Go as clean as possible. Ideally, go to a farmer's market and get it, right? Highly melanated, though, I don't recommend meat. Your body is not really designed to consume a lot of meat. the makeup of who you are is in design. Also being the sun, right? Your melanin is actually condensed sunlight. It actually eats photons and radiation, right? Consumes sunlight. Yeah, definitely don't poke yourself with no vaccines, right? But sunlight, move your body, no fluoride, clean water, spring water. Definitely spring water. And then you want to stay as alkaline as possible. Yeah, do some grounding. Keep your feet in the grass. But I would say if you really want to focus on opening your third eye, focus on your diet. Tone down on your diet. Right? It got to a point in my life where I had to make a decision. Do I want to eat for fun, or do I simply want to eat for spirituality? And I was like, okay, I want to eat for spirituality. Yeah, man. Once you start consuming a lot of fruits, because fruits, you have to think about it. Fruits are living organisms. They have a very high vibration, right? They speak to you. Right? They communicate with you. They allow you. They actually consume sunlight, right? And so whenever you are eating fruits, you are downloading light codes. They are specifically made for you to consume. All right, that is supposed to be your food, is fruits. So the more fruits that you eat, the better. Yeah, man. Get a water filter on everything. Put a filter on your kitchen sink. Anywhere that water is running in your house, put a filter. Put a filter in your shower. Put a filter in your bathroom sink and your kitchen sink. Because your skin is a huge organ. Your skin, it absorbs a lot. So you could be eating very clean, but if you're washing your hands in that sink and it's, you don't know where that water is going and being treated on and what they're putting in the water, and the organ of your skin is consuming all of that, right? So be mindful of water and food. There's so many things that are just set up as, destructive things, so many things, but also keep in mind that little changes go a long way, right? It's not about changing the world in one day. You can make small changes that can really make your quality of life a lot better. And you'll start noticing, right, because your dreams will start getting clearer. Maybe you don't dream a lot now, and now you start dreaming and you remember your dreams more, and now you're starting to dream in color, and then you start being able to control your dreams, and then you start waking up and going back into dreams and having multiple dreams a night, and then being able to dream within dreams. I appreciate you. Yeah, we can talk about the chakras, man. What you want to talk? What about the energy centers? What about the chakras you want to talk about? You want to talk about a specific one? It's a very, very big subject. I could give the spiel that I always give about the chakras. Yeah, I meditate every day. For multiple reasons. Well, these days I simply meditate to keep my consciousness high and connect with my family, with the ancestors, with my higher self, get information. But meditate every day. I recommend meditating every day. Every day. Matter of fact, let's talk about the energy centers. I could talk about them basically, but I had thought I had one discussion I did. This is actually a good one. So let me break this one down. So this one was called the 7 chakras and the 7 deadly sins. So in this one, this actually talked about what chakra imbalances look like, what they feel like, how they manifest, okay, what they mean, and then how each chakra kind of represented the next one. Okay. Only my Kevin Durant dream. Is that like a key word for something? Kevin Durant dream. All right, so let's talk about the chakras. All right, so let me try to go through this briefly, and I'll take out what's unnecessary. So we are temples housing the divine, yet the same energy that can lift us to enlightenment can, when distorted, drag us into shadows. All right, cool. This makes sense. All right, so the 7 chakras are not just energy centers. They are actually spiritual tests. All right, so each one, when blocked or overindulged, aligns with a quote-unquote deadly sin. And yet within that shadow is the invitation to evolve. So let's talk about them one by one. The root chakra, Muladhara. This is actually represented by the 7th, well, one of the 7 deadly sins, lust. Now, we typically think of sex associated with the sacral chakra, or, well, really the sacral chakra. But the deadly sin is actually associated with the root chakra. So this is the over-identification with physical pleasure, seeking grounding in carnal desire rather than divine presence. So an imbalance of your root center is going to be fear. It's going to be survival obsession or sexual addiction. All right. So if you are, what also is your root chakra associated with? Grounding, meaning you feel just safe in society as a whole. And so we already know that that's thrown off because most people don't even feel safe in this economy. Most people struggle to pay the bills. They argue about the price of eggs and the price of gas, right? So this society is already set up to take you out of your root center, okay? So fear and survival obsession are here. Now, how do you actually balance the root center? Number one is going to be discipline, right? How do you ground yourself in your identity is you discipline yourself. You consistently do routines to remind yourself of who you are, right? Whether it's meditation, whether it's just meal prepping, whether it's praying, right? Whether it's taking a walk, working out, right? You do these things as discipline to ground yourself into a routine, to ground your identity, right? You also overcome this with presence and sacred sexuality, okay? Sacred sexuality. So some healing practices are going to be grounded meditations, physical movement, walking barefoot, yoga, and then sexual energy transmutation, like retention, same retention, sacred union. And then one affirmation that is in alignment with the root center is I am safe and I am grounded in divine presence. I am safe is a very important one when it comes to the root center, okay? So when the lower fires are tamed, the serpent rises upward. This is a Kundalini Tantra saying. All right, when the lower fires are tamed, the serpent rises upward. So the next one is the sacral center. This is actually associated with the deadly sin of gluttony. All right, so the sacral center is not just gluttony when it comes to food, but it's the endless consumption of pleasure to feel emotional voids. Now, what you're going to see is all of these energy centers are aligned with the lower one. Meaning, if you're not grounded, all right, of course, you're going to seek endless consumption of pleasure to feel emotional voids. This is why meditation, working out, right, grounding yourself, feeling safe, being able to pay the bills. That's why all these things, right, these impact your ability to actually move into that next energy center, the sacral center. So a couple imbalances, addictions, sacral center addictions, okay? Emotional instability, overindulgence. If I'm not grounded, of course, this is the next level, is that I'll have addictions. I have emotional instability, I have overindulgence. So you balance this with creative expression, Right? The solar, or not the solar plexus, the sacral chakra is associated with your creativity. Sexual energy is just creative energy. So creative expression, drawing, or writing, hell, reading, singing, right? All of these things, creative expression, dancing, whatever, emotional flow, and then sacred boundaries. Sacred boundaries. All right. So healing practices, like I said, dance, art, music, channel emotions into creation, detox from overstimulation. If you really want to get your sacral sensor back, you do fast. Right? You detox from the internet, from TV for a little while. Right? You stop, having sex for a little while. Right? And then one affirmation: I am the creative vessel of divine flow. So the sacral center being that second. All right. Now the third energy center is the solar plexus. The solar plexus is right over the sacral. It's the gut. This is in alignment with your intuition. Okay. Your solar plexus representing like the sun. It's hot. It's like the heating sensor of the body. That's why you associate like running and working out and eating less with burning fat. The solar plexus, the hot sun, burning fat. Okay. So also your solar plexus, your gut is really your first brain as well. This is why you have a gut feeling, your intuition, all those things. So the deadly sin that's associated with the solar plexus is greed. Oh, low battery. Is greed. So the insatiable hunger for more, rooted in a lack of trust in divine provision. All right? So we'll see that, number one, if you're not grounded in your roots, then what? If your sacral energy is unbalanced, you're going to look for endless consumption of pleasure to fill emotional voids. And then going on to the next one, if you can't do that, guess what? You're going to have the insatiable hunger for more, right? So if you're out there seeking things to feel emotional voids, guess what? It's going to be insatiable. You'll always have the hunger for more. Have you ever met someone who said, you know what, I've just had so much sex, it just got to a point, I finally had the coochie of all coochies, and I said, you know what, that's enough. Finally, I've had my full, I can relax. No, it doesn't happen like that. You have to make a decision to discipline yourself. You have to make a decision to ground yourself sexually, or that energy will just run crazy. All right? So an imbalance with the solar plexus, control issues, ego inflation, power struggles, the insatiable hunger for more can lead to control issues, ego inflation, and power struggles. So how do you balance it? You balance it by generosity, finding a purpose, because purpose allows you to begin to give back. And oftentimes we can only satisfy that hunger for more by finding purpose within ourselves and then surrendering to divine will, right? But it's going to be very difficult to do that if you're not grounded. So as you see, all these energy centers build on one another, all right? So healing practices, acts of service and generosity, the breath of fire. If you've ever watched Wim Hof videos, breathing techniques. And then fasting from control, practicing surrender, more mindfulness. And so an affirmation for the solar plexus is, I trust in divine provision, I have enough, and I am enough. Okay? Now the heart center, what is the heart center associated with? We know the heart center typically represents gratitude, righteousness, integrity, wrath. Wrath is the sin associated with a closed heart center. All right? So the deadly sin of wrath is anger born from wounded love and unmet expectations. Remembering who you are incorrectly, right? I thought that I just wasn't being loved from the third dimension of reality. However, I think that, or however, I've been remembering myself incorrectly, because it was just a mirror. The source within me has always loved me unconditionally. All right? So an imbalance in your heart center is what bitterness, resentment, and coldness, right? They broke your heart and now you're cold. Now you're resentful, you're bitter. And how do you balance it? Forgiveness, compassion, and vulnerability, all right? So healing practices, inner child healing, loving kindness meditation, right, or metta, and then forgiveness rituals, right? Letter writing and mirror work. All right, so an affirmation for the heart. I open my heart, I forgive, and I love without condition. I got you. I never heard that. God, source, etc. Cool. All right, so the throat center. All right, your throat center speech. All right, what is the deadly sin associated with speech? The throat center. It's envy. All right, so this is the silent poison of the soul, resenting the light in others we've denied in ourselves. All right, so an imbalance is suppressed expression, gossip, and comparison. How do you balance this? Authenticity, truth, and conscious speech. Understanding that because you see it, it means that you can have it. So if your throat center is off, you're going to be envious. You're going to be gossiping. Right? You're going to be comparing yourself to others, not realizing they're just reflections of you. They're showing you what you can have. All right? And so healing practice is speaking your truth even if your voice shakes. Chanting, toning, mantra repetition, and then digital silence. Disconnecting to reconnect. Get all those other voices out your mind. Get the music out your mind. Get the social media out your mind. Get the YouTube out your mind, right? Get the TV, politics, get everybody out your mind and simply remind yourself of your voice. And in affirmation, my voice is sacred. I express divine truth, right? So your third eye, right? It is associated with the deadly sin of pride. So this is the illusion. Pride is the illusion of separation from God and exalting the ego over source. So a closed third eye, imbalanced third eye, right? So an imbalance is going to be arrogance, delusion, spiritual bypassing. Getting on the spiritual path and not having that open third eye, spiritual bypassing. How do you balance this? Humility, clarity, and divine vision. So some healing practices with the third eye, shadow work and self-inquiry, visualization and silent contemplation. All right, so to heal that, you want to do visualization. Get your visualization strong. One side note on visualization is I would highly recommend if you struggle to visualize, maybe it means that you need to be more mindful in your life. Right? When's the last time you just watched the sunset or looked at trees? If you don't sit in the moments and appreciate things when you see them, then your mind can't create like a mental storehouse of images. That way when you go in your imagination, you can put together a scene based on your memory. But if you're just going through life and you're, just always in go, right? And you're not taking time to smell the roses, smell the beauty around you, it'll be more difficult for you to visualize. So the next time you try to visualize, try to, challenge yourself, right? Ask yourself those difficult questions. Am I struggling because I don't take enough time to be mindful and look in my day-to-day life? When's the last time you saw something new on your drive to work for the first time? When's the last time that, you went on a walk and you noticed things? Or do you see the same shit every day? Has it become so routine that you become unconscious as you take that journey? Right? Start trying to find one new thing and see the miracle in one new thing every day. All right? So another healing practice for the third eye, service without recognition, anonymous giving. Okay? And so an affirmation for the third eye, I see with divine vision and I walk in humility. Get some of this water, man. I could go for something real unhealthy right now. And then the seventh energy center is the crown center, right? Located right above your head, right? So what is the seventh or the deadly sin associated with the crown center is sloth. So the deadly sin of sloth, not laziness of body, but of spirit, a refusal to awaken to one's divine purpose. So the imbalance can lead to apathy, spiritual disconnection, and nihilism. So you balance this with devotion, meditation, and remembrance of God. Right? Meditation is one of the highest practices for your crown center, for really all of them. Meditation helps you in everything. All right? So some healing practices, daily spiritual practices, prayer, meditation, journaling, reading scripture, time in silence in nature to connect you with who you are. You are nature. Right? Study sacred text with devotion. And then an affirmation is I am one with the divine and I remember who I am. So that was probably an odd way to kind of go through the 7 energy centers, but hopefully that helped. Talked about imbalances and some things that were good to do to kind of balance those energy centers. Hopefully that helped. Okay, cool. Grateful. What's up? All right, what else we got? What else we got today? Appreciate you. Thank you. I love mine too, man. Okay, y'all extra quiet today, man. All right, so the affirmation for the sacral, I got you. Let's get to it. The affirmation for the sacral chakra is, I am the creative vessel of divine flow. I am the creative vessel of divine flow. And this link is on YouTube. It's in a video I did a while ago. I couldn't even, can I see a date on this? I don't know when the hell I did it, but it's on a YouTube video. If there's a search feature on YouTube, it should just be 7 chakras. 7 deadly sins, one of the 2. But this document is on that video. Matter of fact, I'll put this document on this video as well. Oh, yeah, it was definitely already on there. I'll add this link on the bottom of this video. It'll be on YouTube. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all for jumping on today. So, so the throat center, all right? So we talked, I talked about it very, very briefly, but when you speak, it's like folks don't hear you. Using your throat center, right? It's not, none of these energy centers are magic. So open these energy centers is not a magical thing that when you do it, all of a sudden your voice will just be louder. It is they're divine practices. So what I would say to that statement is, it is fine. You speak, sometimes when you speak, it is like folks don't hear you. That is fine. What matters is that you continue to speak despite that. Right? You continue to speak despite that, right? Maybe you have to raise your tone a little bit over time, right? And you do that. And you figure out how to deliver your message more efficiently multiple times, right? I never heard that. That's a good one. Put them in mute in your mind and continue to speak. That's what's up. I like that. I love that. What's gotten me a lot better with speaking is just speaking. It has just been speaking. It hasn't been, you know what's very interesting is I rarely go back and even watch videos that I do, that I make. But when I do, I'm always like, oof, right? Just the process of doing it more, you naturally just get better and more confident and learn how to deliver certain points in a better way. Right? So the best advice I would give, if you think that sometimes, people aren't hearing you, is make an effort to continue doing it. Don't allow your thought that you're not being heard to silence you. Right? So that's the physical thing that I would talk about. Now, if we actually move to a metaphysical way, which I've been itching to say, because I kind of like to lean on the metaphysical way, is you still have to focus on your expectations. Right? So what do you believe when you speak? Clearly, you kind of just said your belief, right? That when you speak, people don't listen. So I would make it a point to incorporate some affirmations around that in your life, to embody someone that you don't change your tone. You still speak the same. You still speak up when you need to. But what is your belief about when you speak that people hear you? When I speak, it moves people. They listen, or they're moved. They, whatever affirmation that you have to make. Okay. That is in alignment with how you want your words to be received. That's what I would focus on. I honestly know, not even believe, I honestly know that every issue that we have is simply an issue with our expectation and our story that we're telling. So I see you as a divine speaker. Your voice is heard, people hear you. People hear you clearly. No one struggles to hear you at all. Right? You speak truth, you speak powerfully. And you know that too. You just been remembering yourself incorrectly. Truth, how does God remove? Infinite ways, right? There are infinite ways that things can change in your life. Ooh, I like how that belief just bubbled up, right? See, it's great. I like that, right? The moment that you start focusing on things, the beliefs that you hold start raising up. The only reason they're raising up is for you to challenge them, right? This is an old identity, right? That is a very old identity. You don't have to embody that identity anymore. It's just one of infinite identities that you carry. You can easily switch to a new identity right now. That men can't wait to hear you talk. They hold on to every word that you say. Right? But God removes people from your life in infinite ways. However they need to be removed. Sometimes we're stubborn and we try to cling and hold on to things. Or we don't learn a lesson and things circle back in multiple ways or multiple times. But people can be removed in many different ways, right? So that's a very abstract response. But all right, y'all, I'm getting tired of the mug, man. I'm getting tired than a mug. Whatever that means, whatever that unit of measurement means, than a mug. So let's end with some affirmations, and I'm gonna let y'all go. I'm finish drinking this water. I'm gonna do some meditating tonight. Right? I see you all as divine, as worthy, as perfect, right? As absolute power, absolute worthiness, absolute love, absolute abundance and prosperity. You could not be less, even if you wanted to be. Even if you don't think you're worthy, too bad, you already are. Even if you think you got some more healing to do, it doesn't matter. You're still worthy. You are worthiness. You could be nothing less than that. Everything that you desire, you already have, and you are walking down the path to the realization of it in this third dimensional reality. Every moment is giving you an opportunity to confront yourself, to love yourself, to hear the story that you've been telling and change the story to whatever you want. All right? You are a God. You are a goddess. You are a creator. You are limitless. You are prosperity. Right? And if you do not believe that, it's cool, because I see you as that way anyway. So I know that it must be true. Right? Stay perfect. Stay prosperous. Y'all have a beautiful, beautiful evening. And we shall talk again, probably in the morning, man, God willing. Appreciate y'all as always. And I really enjoy these discussions. I appreciate y'all. And hopefully y'all hopefully y'all are experiencing the miracles every day. All right. Talk to y'all later. Peace.